battle for TikTok. Hello, everybody. This is StockerFinance. I'm your host, David Scheuer. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at StockerFinance for more information. So recently, Trump said that he was going to ban TikTok throughout the U.S. That was Monday. He said that by September 15th, which will be a deadline for TikTok to find a U.S. buyer, he said if that doesn't work, then they're going to ban the app, shut it down throughout the country. They also said that part of any sale for TikTok, some of that money will go to the U.S. Treasury. In a very kind of controversial statement there. But then, more recently, actually yesterday, Thursday, on August 6th, Trump signed an executive order that will effectively ban the use of TikTok in the U.S. So he said Thursday he invoked his emergency economic powers to impose broad sanctions against TikTok, a move that steps up pressure on the Chinese-owned app to sell its U.S. assets to an American company. So although he is kind of effective with banning TikTok, and we're going to talk about how he does that, he talks about that in this article in a second here, he's also kind of encouraging the sale of TikTok to an American company. So in the order, which takes effect in 45 days, so we do have a little bit of time here, any transactions between TikTok's parent company ByteDance and U.S. citizens will be outlawed for national security reasons. In practice, experts told NPR, the order will likely mean the viral video service could no longer receive advertising from American companies, and the app could be removed from Apple and Google's app stores. More than 100 million Americans who have downloaded TikTok, experts say the app may no longer be sent software updates, rendering TikTok unmanageable and eventually non-functional with time. So essentially just shutting down TikTok in this way. But now let's take a look at the battlefield here with what's going on, because there's so many different players in this kind of battle for TikTok. And the reason they're all battling for TikTok is because of that 100 million user count. There's just so many people that use TikTok. It's such a big app and has such a big audience there viewing TikTok that all of these different companies want a piece of that pie. So here's kind of the battlefield. On the one hand, we have the United States and China going head to head here in sort of a trade war for the past few years. A lot of different things going back and forth, countries talking to each other. It's not going too well. Then we also have China in tensions with other countries throughout the world, not just the United States, with a little bit with Australia as well, with the EU. We also have China in, battling India. We have some tensions across the border there, as well as India actually outlawed TikTok entirely already. And the reason that they're outlawing TikTok is because they believe it is spying on the United States, it is taking people's data, and China's going to use that data in some negative way or to, hold something over their heads, etc. So ByteDance, again, is the owner of TikTok. It's their parent company, and TikTok itself is valued between 25 and 50 billion US dollars. But then we look at some of the players in the United States that are all competing for a piece of this pie. We have Facebook, which we're going to talk about how it just basically made a classic Zuckerberg move of taking the TikTok software, copying it, plastering it onto Facebook's apps like Instagram. We have Microsoft, who's been interested in purchasing TikTok for between around 35 billion US dollars. Snapchat also creating a more competing software that is slightly different from TikTok, but is again just trying to get a piece of that pie. Twitter haven't really earned anything from them, same with any others as well. So let's talk about Facebook first as we go down the list here. Now, Facebook launched a TikTok copycat on Instagram, I think people kind of expected. Who's really surprised that they're just copying and pasting this app onto their own apps? It's a classic Zuckerberg move. And this is funny because it happened right after this Congress hearing and this antitrust hearing about Zuckerberg using the company's copycat strategies. And so all these US lawmakers were basically berating him about copying different US companies and their software, etc., especially like Snapchat stories, which basically Facebook just took and then plastered it onto and created Instagram and Facebook stories. So kind of controversial, not really a big surprise that they did this though. The product is called Reels. It lets people, of course, edit 15-second clips of videos together alongside music. Exact same thing at TikTok. It's going to be embedded into Instagram. And again, it's in more than 50 different countries. So Reels is the second major Instagram feature that allows an almost identical one popularized by our competitor. Again, as I said, Instagram Stories, which is a tool for posting videos and photos that just appeared, it was inspired by Snapchat. They just stole it directly from them. Then we have Reels. This is something I didn't know, which Reels isn't Facebook's first attempt at challenging TikTok. Now, Facebook had something called Lasso, which I didn't even know existed, and I doubt you guys did either. Apparently, it was a separate application with similar features that was tested in limited markets. It was actually shut down last month because it failed to win over an audience. So Reels may have better luck, but because that failed, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, it's launching just as TikTok's existence in the US is being challenged by President Donald Trump. We're going to see what happens there. If TikTok is completely banned and that's it, Facebook is going to very much benefit from this. Now, if TikTok simply gets bought and nothing really changes, I think kids are going to stick with using TikTok more than using Reels on Instagram. So Reels videos, again, are going to show up in the Instagram Explore tab, basically the exact same thing. They're just copying it, the exact same thing of TikTok, and just plastering it onto Instagram. That's all there really is. But the interesting thing, though, is that, Instagram has more than 1 billion users that use it. So if they know that some of those billion users are using TikTok and spending more time on other apps, they want those users to spend as much time on Instagram as possible. And that's why Facebook does what it does with just copying these other softwares and just plastering onto those, because they know they're already effective. People like them. They're spending more times on those apps, but they want people to be spending time on their apps, so they watch more ads, so it generates Facebook more revenue. Now, this is the summary of that. There's a classic Zuckerberg move, just a classic copy and paste. It'll keep promoting the product. They most likely won't have a profound impact on TikTok right now. And it's definitely less politically charged than Microsoft's decision, even though they just had a hearing about basically what they're doing right now. So I think it's a little less politically charged, though, than Microsoft's decision, which we'll talk about next. So Microsoft and TikTok, they plan to finish acquisition talks within the next 3 weeks ahead of the September 15th deadline. The valuation of the deal could be high as $30 billion or as low as $10 billion. I think it's actually going to be much higher. I think it'll be between $35 and $40 billion because it's such an urgent and fast thing that's going on. Now, TikTok does want to sell really quickly, but Microsoft also wants to probably buy it very quickly. So the deal's going to be interesting. Either TikTok's going to lower their valuation significantly and say, okay, just buy it from us quickly, because otherwise it's going to be basically worth nothing if it gets banned, at least in the US. Or they're going to say, Microsoft's going to say, we really, really want it. We don't want anyone to get it, so we're going to spend a high price just to make this transaction go really quickly. So Microsoft has already agreed to transfer all of TikTok's code from China to the US within 1 year if the deal goes through. Now, Microsoft is really one of the only companies that can do this because it has all the processing power, has all the computers and all the storage for all of that code, all the different data that it has to store. It's really hard for any company, especially any small company, to be able to do this. And because of that $30 billion potential price tag or more, I think Microsoft or Facebook, maybe Google, or some of these big companies are really the only ones who are capable of doing it. So Microsoft doesn't have much competition here, especially some Facebook already said, no, we're not going to buy it. We're just going to create our own version and plaster it on our apps. So they also reported that there's two sides. They haven't landed on an official price for TikTok yet, but again, between 10 and 30 billion. Apparently there's United States Treasury Secretary is very involved in the process. And Donald Trump, again, is saying that the U.S. Treasury should get a cut of the acquisition, but it's unclear how that would work or if it's even legal, which I agree with. It's just a really interesting and strange concept there. So very few American companies have the bandwidth, as I was saying, to transfer large amounts of data over to its own systems within a year, let alone afford the billions of TikTok will cost. Microsoft does check both of those boxes. Microsoft could likely transfer TikTok's software code, which could be up to 15 million lines of artificial intelligence, helping comment or cement its position in the leading contender to acquire the company. So a summary of this little Microsoft acquisition here is that it's attempting to purchase TikTok for between probably 35 and 50 billion US dollars. It will gain access to millions of young users, which will be a huge advantage for Microsoft. However, Microsoft does have a bad history of acquiring platforms with young users. It's done this before with other apps and really just kind of kills them after a little bit. So we'll see if Microsoft can come at it from a new angle. I think as long as it doesn't change anything with TikTok, basically just change where it's hosted, where the data is stored, and that's it. It just doesn't change anything else about the app, gets more advertisers for it, etc. I think it'll be great for Microsoft, and I think users will continue to stay with TikTok. It's very politically charged, of course. Microsoft's going to face a lot of backlash from this, especially after that hearing where they're basically being, attacked for being a monopoly in this world, and then you go ahead and you're purchasing another app, another massive app for around 30 to 50 billion US dollars to add to your collection, basically, and to make even a bigger conglomerate. So it's kind of interesting. It's definitely going to be a very politically charged move. It'll mostly face backlash from consumers/investors. However, most of the people who use TikTok, I don't think those kids care at all. It's really a young audience on the app. I don't think most of them care who is hosting it, where the data is stored, etc. If their data is being stolen, I really don't think they care that much about it. They just want entertainment. So if they execute this well, they don't change the app, it's definitely going to pay off for Microsoft. So now let's talk about Snapchat. Snapchat's actually been trying to take on TikTok kind of behind the scenes here. It's added a music kind of situation to Snap. We're doing deals with the Universal Music Group as well as some others. So what it's doing is basically just adding a new feature. Now it's a little different. It's not Facebook where it's just copying and pasting the app. It is slightly different than TikTok. It's not fully there, but I do think Snapchat does have some potential to compete with TikTok, or at least get users to spend a little more time on Snapchat, which it's been struggling with a little bit. So Snapchat's new music feature will allow to add music from a robust catalog of music, either before taking the snap or after. Friends who receive the snap with the music will be able to swipe up to view the song titles, as the artist and album name. They'll also be able to access a play this song link. When click, they'll take users to a web page where they can listen to the whole song on their preferred music streaming platform like Apple Music, SoundCloud, or Spotify. As per the report, the new feature will be rolled out this autumn. So the robust catalog of music includes titles from Merlin, Universal Music Group, Warner Music Group, and other record labels that have partnered with Snap. So all the really big record labels there. Snapchat said that the feature would be launched to English language users, and that it is already starting to see testing the feature in Australia and New Zealand. And it is yet to be launched in India as well. So TikTok's music feature does function differently. Clicking on a video clip takes users to a page featuring other clips that have also used the same sound. Unlike TikTok, Snapchat won't have a feed of videos set to music or a way for users to see other videos featuring the same song. However, Snapchat can still manage to gain TikTok users looking for a new application to replace TikTok. Instagram Reels, as we talked about in Reposo, I don't even really know what that is very much, are other apps that have been trying to fill the TikTok size hole in the Indian market. So yeah, it's really interesting. I personally think Snapchat should just go all the way. If Facebook's going to copy TikTok's app, I think Snapchat should do the same thing. Implement that section that I was talking about of having a page that takes users to where a bunch of other things with similar song are all there. Keep people on Snapchat as much as possible. From a business perspective, don't hold yourself back. Just go all out with this. That's my opinion for Snapchat. As long as it doesn't affect their bottom line with the app, and as long as it doesn't, end up driving users away from their app because it changes too much, I think Snapchat's going to benefit from this, no matter what, really. And this is kind of what it looks like here. This is kind of an interesting just layout of Snapchat in case you've never really seen what Snapchat looks like or you don't use the app. Basically, it is largely a messaging app. And in that section where you see Discover there in the middle, I think that section, because that section to me has really been pretty lame. There's some news stuff, some interesting stories which are okay, but I think that section should be where they have their TikTok app. I think it'll go perfectly. You have your messaging where you can talk to your friends, then you have all the friends that you've added, their stories, and then you have your TikTok style little fun clips, entertainment here with all your friends or other people and then go right in this feed on Snapchat. And you can also then add people through the barcode, etc., the scanning code. So I think Snapchat's really set up pretty well to implement a TikTok feature and to take a lot of people to spend more time on Snapchat. It just needs to implement it in the correct way. So a quick summary here. The new feature should help increase usage on the app. Snapchat has an immense amount of users, but needs to keep them on the app so they view more advertisements. Snapchat is continuing to innovate, which I love to see. It won't make an impact on Microsoft or Facebook, though. I don't think Snapchat, what it's doing right now, is going to change, how Facebook's operating or Microsoft's deal at all. It's not going to purchase TikTok, does not have that kind of power whatsoever. If TikTok stays, Snapchat's features will most likely not hurt TikTok either. It'll most likely just help its users spend a little more time on Snapchat through this different new feature. Snapchat needs to add more Instagram. It just needs to be a little more like Instagram in terms of getting people to stay on the app longer. Snapchat really doesn't have a browsing feature like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those other apps have, even Twitter, and even like Reddit, where Snapchat it's really just a messaging app and communication application right now. It's not much of a browsing app to keep people on it for long periods of time. So it needs to just have some new things, whether it's followers, likes, comments, whatever it might be, those types of features to the app. It needs to add those in order to drive engagement and increase its usage so that people view more ads and Snapchat makes more money. The real winner right now, in my opinion, seems to just be the U.S. Treasury. If no matter what plays out, if Snapchat gets, if TikTok gets banned and whatever, but if TikTok gets banned, sorry, I'm stumbling my words here. If TikTok does get banned, it's going to largely benefit Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram. No matter what, you're going to see a huge boost to both of their stock prices, like we've already seen today. On top of that, people are going to say, okay, well, I need a new app to use, so I'm going to go to one or the other. But if TikTok does get purchased or if it stays in the US, and the real winner is going to be the US Treasury, because apparently it's going to take a cut of whatever happens there, which will be kind of interesting. All right. So anyways, let's go through some scenarios here. Most likely, Microsoft will buy TikTok for around 30 to 50 billion US dollars. That is the most likely scenario, in my opinion. Likely, but not as likely, as TikTok ends up getting fully banned. Snapchat, Facebook, other social media all benefit from increased usage on their apps. Maybe this might happen. A competitor to TikTok takes off and kids start using that app more as the government tends to regulate and begins to push back on TikTok. So kind of a slower version of the banning, and it'll kind of, Snapchat and Facebook, more people start to use theirs instead of TikTok. Unlikely someone other than Microsoft buys TikTok. I think that's very unlikely. Super unlikely is very unlikely. As I said in the bottom here, nothing happens, back to normal. Pretty much that's not going to happen. Anyways, thanks for watching about this battle for TikTok. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of summer. We're getting pretty close. Check out these videos below and follow on Twitter at StockerFinance. New videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification for those. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.